Alright, so anabolic steroids and immune function. This is not going to be a popular video because YouTube doesn't like when you talk about that. For those of you coming back and for those of you joining me, I'm going to do this and hope I don't lose my voice. So each day is a little bit better, but yeah, my throat is still really raw from having been intubated and sucks. It's like this endless sore throat. Anyways, so I did a video and I was talking about this incident with the Navy SEALs, Buds, Kyle Mullen, right? And this unfortunate event happens where this young man dies. And the question is, did the instructors do something wrong? And my answer to you is no. Because if they did something wrong, you would have had a lot of people die. Like, take it, from any standpoint, you take 300 people and you do something to them. You did the same thing to all of them, and one of them dies. Well, what made that one different? Well, that one happened to be using anabolic steroids, and that one develops this form of pneumonia that's very aggressive, and they die from it. What do we know about anabolic steroids? Anabolic steroids will diminish your immune function. Now, this is not news. As I pointed out, you guys can look this up. I encourage you to look this up. Go to Google, DuckDuckGo, PubMed, whatever. Look up anabolic steroids and immune function, and you will find that anabolic steroids diminish your immune function. As it turns out, someone asked a question, and they asked about a drug called primobolan, and does primobolan improve immune function? And there does seem to be a message out there. I came across this myself. Vigorous Steve has some really interesting takes, and he claims that it improves immune function. However, Derek, More Plates, More Dates, you guys can even watch Derek's video complete. He has an article, actually. Yeah. I'm not a fan of a lot of the people that put out information because the information that they put out is not accurate. So if you know anything about pharmacology, pharmacokinetics, etc., endocrinology, a lot of the things that a lot of the YouTubers are saying are not, well, they're just flat out incorrect. But Derek, More Plates, More Dates, did an entire article on his website on immune function and anabolic steroids, as well as a video going through that article, and Derek will lay it out for you why anabolic steroids will reduce your immune function. However, this is worth still discussing. Could a drug like primobolan, or a drug like oxandrolone for that matter, right? Primobolan is, I never pronounce these things correctly. I can spell them for you all day. Anavar is oxandrolone. The point being, these drugs actually do have medical applications. Where they have medical application, though, is what you need to pay attention to. So let's take a drug like Primo, and Primo is apparently able to improve immune function. But what is the context of that? And it tends to be in burn patients who have lost 10% of their body weight. You are burned so badly that you went from weighing 200 pounds to 180 pounds. That's how much of your tissue was burned off. Your immune function is diminished due to the fact that 10% of your body was burned off of you. So when we put those people on an anabolic steroid, their immune function improves. You have to understand, it doesn't improve relative to their baseline level where they were healthy at 200 pounds. It improves from their baseline level, or their new baseline level, if you will, where now they weigh 180 pounds because 20 pounds of their body was literally burned off of them, burn patients. So in that regard, what you're looking at is you're looking at a person who has a compromised immune system due to the fact that they were burned so badly. Now, when we put them on something like Anavar or primobolan, their immune function improves. Now, this goes through a whole list of things like neutrophils versus leukocytes versus cytokines. It's all this really complex shit, and I am not going to attempt to explain it. because I won't even say that I barely understand it. I'm just going to go with I understand the words, and I am not an expert in immune function. That is not what I study. You guys want to talk about, some other cell line of very specific cancers? I can talk to you about oligodendroglioma. Fantastic. I can't tell you all the ins and outs of the immune system. That's something I talked about in another video. Whenever you focus on one thing, guess what? It means you're not studying all the other things. So, what I can tell you, though, is also HIV/AIDS patients, right? It's HIV/AIDS. If they lose 10% of their body weight, their immune function goes down. This is not looking at a normal, healthy young man. This is looking at someone who is suffering from, sarcopenia and osteoporosis, the cachexia, right? We all know cachexia because of cancer. But people with HIV/AIDS, they will lose muscle at an accelerated rate. That's why you see them, they put them on things like Serostim, which is like 18 IUs of growth hormone a day. And these people still continue to lose muscle because this disease causes muscle wasting, causes sarcopenia. So, when those people have lost a significant amount of weight, we put them on various anabolic drugs, and their immune function improves. But that's another important thing. This is no different than the burn patient. The burn patient that lost 10% of their body weight, the HIV/AIDS patient who has lost 10% of their body weight, when we put them on an anabolic steroid, their immune function improves relative to where it was now that they have lost 10% of their body weight. Okay? So if you look at people who have a compromised immune system, anabolic steroids can improve their immune function. This is not looking at healthy individuals, though. So in healthy individuals, such as young bodybuilders, you guys can go look this up, then when they take anabolic steroids, it actually decreases their immune function. They're more likely to get colds and flus. I mentioned that there was this thing that happened in the past, couple years, and people got sick, and a lot of bodybuilders died during this time. And as much as we would love to all attribute it to other things, so-and-so was abusing. Don't say mean things about people when you don't know what they took. John Meadows is a very nice person. I will say that over and over and over again. And some of the comments that I heard people make about John's passing were just atrocious. And same thing for Boston Lloyd. Anyone that's ever had an interaction with Boston knows that Boston's actually a really nice person. I don't understand. I do. I understand why some of the old school bodybuilders don't like him. But as far as the people that listened to his YouTube channel and followed him on Instagram, he was very nice. He was very responsive. Just a decent person. Okay, you disagree with his, reckless drug use. That's fine. You know what? I still listen to Rolling Stones, and I don't believe that you should be doing the same things that Keith Richards does. Okay? Anyways, point being this. All these people made all these conclusions that, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this. Someone made some nasty comment about how Boston had taken, some diuretic or something, and his kidney function, and all these other things. It could just be that they got COVID, and, I said that word, so this video is going to get in trouble. We'll see if YouTube takes it down or not. Sorry. They got this thing. They got this, this virus, okay? And it's possible that their immune function was compromised, and so therefore they didn't have a response to it like a normal, healthy individual would. Now, something else that's interesting, this is worth considering here. Anabolic steroids also are occasionally used in autoimmune conditions. Now, this is an interesting thing. You should consider this, and this is going to say that we're going to improve your immune function. Okay, so what's happened in an autoimmune condition is that your immune system is overactive. And now it's attacking your own tissues. So let's say you have, Hashimoto's, right? And so your immune system is overactive and it's attacking your own thyroid. You have Addison's. Your immune function is attacking your adrenal glands. There's a whole variety. Psoriasis, Crohn's, celiac. We could go through a long list. I could probably sit here and waste time trying to think of I'll impress you with all the different autoimmune conditions that I could name. Necrotizing myopathy. No one gives a shit, right? The point is, you know what I'm talking about. There are a whole bunch of, really obscure ones too, like cerebral ataxia or something like that. Okay, it's cerebellar. I can't remember what it's called. It's some type of ataxia. It's terrible. Okay, there's a whole bunch of these different autoimmune conditions out there that attack practically every single tissue in your body. Type 1 diabetes, it's attacking your pancreas, right? There's a long list of them. There's an IgA nephropathy that attacks your kidneys, and anyways, the point being, we put people on anabolic steroids, and guess what happens? Their immune function improves. But how? Oh, because it calmed it down. So your overactive immune system that's killing you because your body's decided to attack itself, we put them on anabolic steroids, and it actually suppresses their immune system. That's considered an improvement. You see what's happened here? It's like the Goldilocks things, too much or too little, right? This one's too hot, this one's too cold, this one's just right. So if you have an overactive immune system and it's killing you, we put you on anabolic steroids and it suppresses your immune system. We consider this an improvement because now you're back to a normal baseline. That makes sense. If you are all the way down here and you've lost immune function due to the fact that you've lost 10% of your body weight because you were burned so badly, when we give you those anabolic steroids, you gain the muscle mass back. Hence, it brings you back to this baseline. You're back to normal function. But the point that I'm trying to share with you here is that if you are a normal person, you are not suffering from an autoimmune condition where you're hyper, or you haven't suffered from HIV, AIDS, or some severe burn. This guy here, when he takes anabolic steroids, it shifts the things like the leukocytes and the neutrophils and the basophils and all these things like that. And even though you may see white blood cells go up, white blood cells doesn't really mean a whole lot. It actually breaks down into a whole bunch of smaller things. You have these neutrophils, as I mentioned, the leukocytes, you have the basophils, you have this entire breakdown, okay? When you look at all of that, yes, some may have gone up, but other ones may have gone down. And so now you still may have impaired immune function, even though some of those categories have gone up, okay? So saying, hey, white blood cells went up, therefore immune function is better, that's not how it works. It isn't. You can see this in cancer patients. Like, you'll see weird stuff in cancer patients, man. You'll see, leukocytes go through the roof, and it's like, what the hell's going on there? But they're actually immunocompromised now. So just because one of them went up doesn't mean that everything else got better. These things have to work together. This is like if I said to you, hey, let's make a cake, and you know what? I know the recipe calls for a teaspoon of salt, but let's go ahead and put in 2 cups of salt. That's not going to be a very good cake, right? So we're just going to change one of the ingredients. We're not going to make a bigger cake and just double all of the ingredients proportionately. No. I'm going to be like, yeah, so let's go ahead and throw in 2 cups of salt for the cake. We won't change any of the other numbers. That's going to be a salty cake. And there you guys have it. So this is the long explanation to this. Someone asked a question in the comments, as I tell you guys many times. If you ask a comment in the question, if you have questions, put them in the comments. I will do my best to answer them. And I wanted to just simply answer this person with a simple sentence, and I realized, no, this deserves its own video because it's something that people are going to ask about. It's a fantastic question, and it's something worth considering. You have to look at these things into the big picture. And so the small picture is, oh, look, it improves some of these white blood cell counts. The big picture is that doesn't mean that it improves the immune function, because your immune function is so much more complex. And I didn't even get into like the Th1 and Th2 and all these things like that. Like this stuff, listen, I get a headache trying to follow this stuff. Like this stuff is really difficult. In grad school trying to learn this stuff, it was like, this is mind-blowing trying to follow these things. It's very difficult. I would actually say, this is one of those funny things in life. Let me tell you a little story. You guys get a bonus here. If you've ever taken OChem, everyone hates OChem. I loved OChem. I did really well in OChem. I liked OChem. If you hate OChem, I hate to tell you this. This is unfortunate. There are classes that are going to come along later that are way harder. Oh my God, they're so bad. If you think OChem was bad, just wait till you get into some of the other stuff. I took a class that was all about like sex, like we call it gender now. I'm old, so in 2002 it was referred to as sex, not gender, and there was only 2 of them. That's how old I am. So, and we studied recombination. Yes, and I know half of you are like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is talking about DNA and gametes and recombination. That was so much more painful than OChem. And I'm sure that now YouTube is definitely going to ban my video because I dared to say something about gametes and DNA. But this is this is what you study. So like when you get into these things, you start to realize, holy crap, like OChem was not that bad compared to some of the deeper science out there. Like once you get into methylation and acetylation, all right then, OChem was not that bad. Anyways, the point being, trying to understand Th1, Th2 immune systems. This is like, because I got into cancer research, so we had to learn shit like PD-1 blockades, and like it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. You have no idea how deep the rabbit hole goes on these things. It'll blow your mind. I'm not even going to try to explain it because I don't understand it well enough to explain it. But what I can tell you is that just because a white blood cell count goes up doesn't necessarily mean you have better immune function. And that the studies out there showing improved immune function, you have to consider the context. So if you have AIDS, then maybe they will improve your immune function because your immune function is suppressed. It's not normal. So when you gain that muscle mass back, it's not because the steroids improve your immune function. It's because the steroids put the muscle mass back on, put the body mass back on. Now your immune function improves. You have lost 10% of your body weight because you were burned so badly. The anabolic steroids don't improve your immune function. The anabolic steroids regain the mass that you lost, and therefore your immune function improves. So it isn't even a direct effect of the steroids. It's the fact that the steroids make you grow tissue back. So outside of that, in healthy individuals, no. Or if you have an autoimmune condition, surprise, surprise, it suppresses your immune system, which is what it does in healthy individuals. It suppresses your immune system. And if you have an overactive immune system, suppressing your immune system would actually make your immune function better. So, whoa, what a mind, I don't know. It's like you're trying to grab multiple things at once. I don't want to call it a mind fuck because it isn't like some kind of weird illusion or something. It is just a lot of moving parts to think about and a lot of context. I hope this is helpful. If you have questions, comment below. If you have time, I'm actually going to recommend to you that you check out the More Plates, More Dates article. Yeah, it's actually really well written, which I didn't expect that because I'm not normally a fan of most of the YouTube channels out there. But Derek did a good job on that one. Go read it.